The dust settles. The sound of battle now dies down. All of you now stand alone in front of the ominous gate. This gate known as the Porta Planar. On a quest through this gate into a realm with a congregation of new people, wondrous artifacts, and amassed fortunes that only in your wildest dreams could you ever imagine.
Alrighty, now I would like to cast Burning Hands in a radius toward, out to
She's just gonna burn everything.
Towards all of those enemies.
My character's name is Brenda. She is a drow sorcerer. She's of the undead bloodline, and she's a true neutral character. Really, just takes things as they come. When you play online video games with people, you have the interaction, but you're not actually sitting with the people. So when you play pen and paper games, it actually gets people in a room together to play it.
I'm not splitting on a boat with you.
Tell me what's split on a boat.
No.
Imagine this, guys.
No.
So we have to travel
Not
the world
happening.
all the time.
For free, because our school pays for it.
I'll buy a robot.
However, how awesome would it be to have our own mobile base of operations?
Not awesome
From
at
which
all.
we can have expeditions. And we'll be destroyed. I'll take really good care of it.
Tabletop RPG would be a role-playing game where the players are playing up a role that they would generate. A man chooses to run the campaign, and then everyone else participates in the campaign. And you can have a variety of different games depending on what everyone likes.
My responsibility is to create the story, to make the game enjoyable for all of the players, as well as to play all the characters that the player characters would interact with. There's two different fundamental things that you could do. You could either follow a pre-played, pre-planned campaign, or you can make your own story up completely from scratch, which is what I do. So I create my own world, my own setting, my own continents.
There's parameters of your characters and parameters of monsters and different equipment and stats and things, and you keep track of it on a sheet. And all you do is you basically have an adventure, whatever you want.
Well, my character is the Grand Summoner, Asim. He is a summoner of the synthesist archetype, so he is bonded with a spectral eidolon being and uses it to augment his powers and to defeat the forces of whatever, because he is a lawful evil character, so he has a code to follow by, but he also likes to murder people sometimes.
You have a choice and an outcome, so you make a decision and you roll for the outcome. So the higher the number, the greater the outcome. The lower the number, the worse for the outcome.
I'm going right for the bear.
Reckless.
1, 2,
Boom!
3.
That's a 19.
So,
Not a crit.
alright. So that's the attack, by the way. You messed it up.
We are quite adept at fucking up.
My character is Jebediah the Ninja. I'm a kitsune, so I'm like a fox. And I'm a ninja, so I'm in the slime.
It actually gets people in a room together, and you can create your entire world in front of you as you're playing the game.
And I'm going to use Cure Minor Wound on Cassius.
Please give me some of that sweet love. Lay your magic heels on me.
To be a part of that story and to make decisions in that story and to influence the story. So like a dungeon master makes the story, but the players kind of, they're the players in the story, they're the characters in the story. So like the dungeon master can't necessarily be like, you walk this way. The player's like, no, I choose where I walk, and the dungeon master has to account for that.
Alright, never mind. I'm gonna wait for Blake. I'm gonna do
I'll just get the sword.
Alright, we'll stop right now.
My most favorite character that I ever made, he was a Minotaur named Rip Torn, after the Men in Black. Well, you know, Lieutenant Zed.
I'm Rip Torn of the Hamron Waste, last of the Minotaur clan.
As far as the characters that I would play, I dictate which characters have sort of a unique quirk about them, whether they, would consistently twirl their mustache, or have an itch all the time, or whether they have an exceptionally high voice.
Yes, you see, your cupcake here, part of it is done, and the other half is all, how you say, leaky.
Or an exceptionally low voice.
Oi, what are you doing out here?
I'm getting wood for my boat.
You're not signed up for my class.
You signed up? I thought I was just gonna watch you guys do it and then follow suit.
Oh, I get it. You're one of Mycroft's little pet boys, eh?
Yes.
Anything from that to make the characters interesting and to make it fun for the player characters to interact with those characters.
Lunge at the wolf. Your claws dig into its sides. Blood pours down your claws. The animal shrieks out in pain and then goes limp in your arms. It is clearly dead. I like to say that a Dungeon Master is a lot like a video game console in that it runs whatever game that the players wish to play, but it also acts as the guiding force to bring them along into the story that he generates.
The tabletop RPG was, set the precedent of how much content you can really put into a video game and how imaginative you can make a video game and how much life you can give to the characters in the story.
I feel that a lot of RPG video games are just more and more and more trying to get to that peak where it's like, your imagination, this thing, we have it. We have it in a video game.
I love to play games. It doesn't really replace that, like, everybody's sitting around the table and like working together to create this fun, enjoyable campaign experience that's really unique to the tabletop.
Parents of the people I play with, when they were kids, they had told us, we were playing, this was like the 80s or the 70s. You guys would get beat up for playing Dungeons and Dragons. Because it was nerdy. Because back in the time it was like, it's like, your imagination? You're using your imagination to do stuff?
Because I am more menacing than you, little boy.
I will disembowel you and face upon your entrails.
I would like to see you try and hit my 23 AC.
You are worth an aneurysm.
Now, man, we must calm down.
So,
how about we just try to continue on, and then eventually we might be able to find you a way out of this place.
People, they're not into it, mostly because they've never been taught or they've never been shown. But there's so many modern media outlets, like there's like TV shows that do like a D&D episode or like characters in movies, and they're like cool main characters playing Dungeons and Dragons, and it's gotten to the point where it's like, hey, if you have an imagination and you want to have some fun, there's nothing to stop you from like having a drink while you're playing Dungeons and Dragons. Like if you're just with your friends, it's fun. And nowadays, which is really cool, is that you can be like, hey, do you play Dungeons and Dragons? And most of the time, what I hear is, no, I haven't played D&D, but I would actually really like to try playing Dungeons and Dragons. I think that's really fun, and it shows just how much, not just for like tabletop gaming in general, but how much as like using that as an example, how much acceptance of things that are weird or sometimes classified as different that we as a society have been like, I want to try that. That sounds like a good time.